What's up, everybody? This is Jay, and this video is the Power Season 5 Episode 4 recap. I want to give a big thanks to everybody that supported me at Patreon.com, and also those that supported me at PayPal, especially Valerie L., my newest supporter. And don't forget to subscribe, and let's get into it. We see Ghost and we see Kanan, and they standing waiting at some location, and we see Tommy pull up in the loudest Mustang on earth, and he hop out. They like, "You late, Tommy?" He like, "Yeah, I know I'm late, but we need to deal with the Jimenez. That's the bigger problem." And he like, "How we gonna deal with that?" And then Kanan like, "Well, why don't we just ask your dad? He out." And Ghost like, "Teresi's out?" And Tommy like, "Yeah, he out, no problem." And when Kanan was saying it, he was trying to shrug him off not to say it, but he did it on purpose. And so Tommy, he like, "Well, it's all good. I checked with Proctor a couple days ago. It's fine." He like, "How could you know this is okay? How could you not tell me?" Proctor, "No, nobody let me know." He like, "Yeah, man, we need to focus on the bigger problem, the Jimenez. This ain't no thing." He like, "How could you be sitting here telling me this ain't no thing and ain't nobody let me know? I know what he could do to us. You ain't told him nothing about our business, have you?" He like, "Nah." He like, "Hey, Kanan, man, give me a second. Let me talk to Tommy for a minute." And he like, "Hey, man, what's with all that we working together crap?" He like, "Hey, man, it ain't crap. We working together. But let me talk to Tommy for a minute." And so Kanan walk away. He laughing secretly to himself because he doing all this on purpose to drive a wedge between them. And so he like, "Tommy, how come nobody told me Teresi is coming out and he could know anything about our business? Have you told him anything?" He like, no, I didn't tell him anything." He like, "Well, you got to be sure. Don't tell him anything, man. We can't trust him. He tried to blackmail me while we was in there, and I know what he could do." He like, "Man, he ain't gonna do nothing like that to us." He like, "How do you know? How can you know you can trust him?" He like, "Man, he wouldn't do that to us because he's family, and we family stick together." He like, "Man, how could you be saying this guy is your family? You known him for 15 minutes. I've been your family your whole life." And so Tommy, he like, "Man, we need to try to take care of the Jimenez. That's what's more important right now instead of Tony." And he like, "Look, we trying to take out this cartel and this and that, and then we got Teresi involved. That could just be more problems than we need." And here's Kanan on the whole time enjoying the show or whatever, acting like he ain't. And he like, "Man, we don't need this type of problems right now if Teresi gets involved." And so he like, "Man, look, we need to take out the Jimenez. Jason ain't gonna wait forever for his money." And so then Ghost is like, "Well, look, well, since everything is all set and straight, why don't you let me know when this Jimenez thing is straight?" And so Tommy, he kind of shrugged it off like, okay. And he's saying, anyway, I got, he getting the phone call, his phone ringing. He like, "Hold on, give me a second, I gotta take this call." And so Tommy, he smiled it off. He like, "Yeah, okay. Alright." And so he's gotten caught some feelings now. He a little upset. And while Ghost, it was ended up being Councilman Tank, he like, "Don't worry about it." Tommy walk off when Ghost is trying to talk to him about business and about the Queen's Child project or whatever, and keep it professional. Tommy screaming, "I'm gonna take care of the Jimenez myself. I'm gonna take him out all by myself." Sounding like a punk kid trying to show his daddy he is a grown-up now or whatever. And Ghost ignore him. He just finished talking or whatever. And then Tommy get into the Rambler and he peels off. And so while he's peeling off, Kanan, he watched the whole thing unfold as if he loved when the plan comes together. And for right now, it looked like everything is coming together. So then we see Angie, and she's getting all the paperwork from officer headquarters, and he's telling her about what happened when they went to get the paperwork from J-Lo. And she's saying, "Oh yeah, you definitely off her Christmas card list. She think you got something to hide." She like, "Yeah, I do. I got something to hide from her." And so then they laugh and chuck it up or whatever. And she's like, "Yeah, how's that dirty cop case coming?" And she like, "It's coming. It's doing pretty good." And so then he walk off, and then they get ready for a meeting. But while he walks off, she closed the door, and then she goes and open up her cabinets behind her desk and lock it in there real quick so that she can get up out of there without anybody getting into the documents or they coming up missing or anything. But then she texts Tasha saying the RJ case is shut down. Tasha saying thank you. Like, she's really got to report to Tasha, and then she gets a text from Steve saying, I can't stop thinking about the other night. And that put a little smile on her face before she go to the meeting. And so now she's talking to all her colleagues, and she's telling them about how Alicia and Diego Jimenez, now that she got them figured out of who they are, and she's saying we can't get to them, but we may be able to find out a way to get to them. We think this is the New York distro, Arturo. If we can get him, we can get him to flip, and maybe he knows where they are and how we can get them. So let's go ahead. We do this. We write our own ticket. Meanwhile, we see Kanan, and now Ghost come. He like, oh, so now you want to talk? He like, it ain't like that. You know how Tommy is when somebody get in his ear, he can't think straight. He like, yeah, Tommy said he think Teresi a snitch. He said, well, Tommy told me that ain't nothing to worry about. He like, well, he got his daddy now. That's worse than a new puppy. So they laugh. He like, man, how we gonna get him away? We should take him out. He like, if we take out Teresi and Tommy find out, Tommy go crazy. He like, well, what we gonna do? He like, I got a plan to get the mob away from Tommy and nobody gets hurt. Meanwhile, we see Tommy and he at the cemetery with Teresi, and Teresi is going and put flowers at his dad's cemetery plot, and he's telling a story about how his dad was in the wheelchair and how his wife left him, but the nurses who stayed with him, and how his dad tried to do as much for him and whatever, and when he got money, the first thing he did was buy that for his dad and his family plots. And he said, yeah, that's what Connie, she deserved a pyramid. I'm going to take care of it at the end of her days. He said, yeah, me too. So now Tommy buying into it. Meanwhile, we see Dre, and he's at the club doing paperwork when all of a sudden we see this hand on the shoulder, and it's Alicia Jimenez. Now, he already spooked because of what, Diego told him. She all in his earring, talking about, oh, that's cute, this and that, and she's asking him, so, what's going on with the business? What do we have to report? And so he start giving her the reports, and she say, how much is Diego's tab ran up? He like, well, it's about $60,000 right now, and a couple waitresses have quit, and pretty soon it won't be anything I could do to hide that amount of money. She like, well, let's wait, and I'll give you your instructions later. So then, meanwhile, we see Tasha. She's laid up, was drugged up, passed out in the bed, and drool on the pillow. And so Ghost been calling her name. She waking up out the little sleep, and she could barely see. And then he like, Tasha, Tasha. And so she barely waking up. She like, huh? Yeah, what? And he done picked up the pill bottle or whatever. And he like, so what is this right here? And she like, oh, the doctor gave me these to help me sleep. What's going on? What's the problem? He like, you all supposed to be ready. Y'all supposed to have the kids ready. We got to go over there to that dinner for the Queen's Child Project. She like, I don't want to go. You go. He like, well, I need you. It's supposed to be you giving the speech. Why don't you get a speech? She like, I don't want to do it. He like, look, I'm sorry that you can't go and honor your daughter like I am, but this and that. And so she like, don't say that. I'm not doing that. He like, yeah, it's because you're selfish. Then he said that because she laying in there sleep as if she the only one tired, where he tired too, but he's still doing what he need to do for his daughter's legacy. Meanwhile, we see the Italians. They in the bar. They bring Tony T in there, and he admiring the look and everything, and then Vincent and everybody talking to him, and so he's appreciating and getting a little gratitude for being out and not being a snitch. And so everybody hug or whatever. Tommy, he trying to soak up the little atmosphere, seeing what it's like being one of the made men. And so Teresi giving thanks and telling everybody appreciate how they treated him and his family, and how they've been looking out for Tommy. And so he's really thankful. And then that's when he say he wanted to take care of Tommy, and Tommy, he thankful. And so then he give a little toast in Italian, 100 years. And so one of the guys whispered to Vincent, how you know you could trust him? He just got out all of a sudden. He's like, don't worry, man, that's the demon of Bell Street, and besides, anybody he could snitch on is already dead. Meanwhile, at the Queen's Child Project at Truth, the fundraiser, we see there's a lot of people there, Ghosts coming down the steps to enjoy and be a part of the crowd. He asking the little swole head bartender if he went through and did everything that Ghost asked, and he like, yeah, I did it. We got you. He like, well, damn it, I'm just trying to make sure. And he bang on the table, and of course, Taint and one of the fundraisers saw him, and so they come on over, and so they like, yeah, James, where's Tasha? How's everything? He like, oh, she not gonna make it. He like, what? Well, I'll read the speech. He like, no, I'll read the speech. It's for my daughter's, my project or whatever. And so he like, why don't you just sit back and relax and do the club thing tonight, and I'll do the speech and handle it. And so he like, well, no, I got this. He like, all right, well, I'm gonna go ahead. I see some investors I need to be speaking with. So he goes over and speaking with some of the investors and trying to flatter her. And then he's saying, what I'm saying, hey, I heard a big investor had to leave already. Say, man, those are just rumors. And so while he's talking to him, Ghostin went and got up on stage. After he done said he trusts him with his life and everything, Ghostin got up. He ready to give his little speech. Then he sees this girl there with the same hairstyle as Raina. And so he's trying to focus and give his speech. And he's stuck right where he was talking about how the project affects his heart. And then he sees the girl turn around, and it's Raina, and he see that swole head, and so he knew that that was his swole head that he was missing. And he had his beard shining and everything, and now he's starting to tweak out. And he sees that Raina's there. He like, wait a minute, hold up. And so now everybody's looking at him like, man, what's wrong with him? And ain't no investors about to give millions of dollars to somebody that don't seem stable. So he's making it look bad right now, trying to raise money. And then he gets off the stage and turn around, and it's this girl with this big bottom lip and no top lip. And so now he shook because he know damn well that ain't his Raina. And now everybody is looking at him. He all alone on the island and is looking silly, looking like he tweaking out. And then he turned around, there go Councilman Tate, and they all looking at him, and now Ghost is tweaking out, messing up in the investment. So what we do is we see then the next morning Ghost sitting there getting drunk already, and he's looking at pictures of Raina, and then he get a picture from the guy handling the investment, and he's saying they got 40% of what they was expected to get, and he like, don't worry about it, I got private funding coming, I'll try to make it work. And so then Tasha come in asking how was it, and he like, Tasha, it didn't go good. I thought I saw Raina. She like, I see her every night. He like, well, I was giving the speech and then I wasn't able to do it, and that was your speech. If you would have came, then this would have never happened because you would have gave the speech and I wouldn't have been in that situation, which he has a point, but then that's wrong to place the blame on her because he had other options. He could have let Councilman Taint read the speech. But anyway, he blamed Tasha for it, walk out, throw a little shoulder lean into her and everything as he walk out. Meanwhile, we see Councilman Taint, and he talking to somebody. He want them to come on board, and then none other is it Dre. And so he's like, look, I want you to be the face for the Queen's Child Project. You got a great story. It will help to raise money and crack open the checkbooks. And he like, well, all that sounds good, Councilman, but what is it in it for me? How does this benefit me? And he like, well, you never can underestimate the value of a good public persona. And so he thought about it for a second, and then he left. Meanwhile, we see Tasha, and she in the kitchen cooking with Mama, and she like, she complaining about how she done with Ghost and how it ain't been the same since Angela, which is her fault. I mean, since Angela, she has been with Sean and Terry, but she wouldn't let that go. Ghost was able to forgive with Sean, and so she was just saying how ain't nothing been the same. And she like, what's going on, Tasha? Is it that man? Who that man you was hugged up with? She like, Mama, it ain't about that. She like, really? She like, yeah, you wouldn't understand. I'm just tired. I'm ready to move on and this and that. When Ghost been ready to move on since the very first episode of season 1. Tasha didn't want to. But now she talking about she think they grew apart. Tasha's so full of it. Meanwhile, we see Proctor, and he's sitting at the house. He done cooked pancakes for his daughter, trying to be daddy daycare. And then next thing you know, his wife just walks in, and he like, oh, I see you still on the list downstairs. She give hugs to her daughter and everything. Daughter looking like, what the heck is going on? She like, yeah, I've been sober now for 30 days, and that means I'll be able to see you. We'll get partial custody and everything. Daughter looking like, man, please, I am not trying to buy it this time. And she like, yeah, here's a pen right here. And so she gave her the pen. She like, all right, I'll put this with the rest of them. And so he like, gone upstairs. And so the daughter gets up, go upstairs. She try to give her another hug right quick, steal a hug. And so he like, look, as much as 30 days, as great as that is, you're not going to get joint custody, and you're not going to get her. She like, oh, look who's talking, who's about to get disbarred for ethics. Aren't you got enough trouble as it is? And he said, look, nobody's going to jeopardize my career or anything from me being that girl's father. Okay? You got that? You're never going to get custody of her. And so then she leaves, and then he goes to his briefcase. He sees the picture he keeps there. Then he sees some more Teresi's paperwork, and then he starts looking over it again. And then the next thing you know, he pulls out his phone, and then he's texting Ghost, and he's saying, hey, James, we got something we need to talk about. And so now he's finally giving Ghost a warning about Teresi. Meanwhile, speaking of Teresi, we see Tommy with Teresi. He talking to Jason on the phone, and he's saying, no, I still didn't get that. I need a little more time. The next thing you know, he hear click, you know, and so he's trying to contact him, and he's not getting no feedback. And so now Tommy, he's like, Teresi like, what's going on? Why don't you let me help you? You need some help? He like, oh, no, I got this. It's just another party I got to throw. He like, oh, okay, why don't you let me and the boys help? Do it right this time. He like, no, I got this. Meanwhile, we see Arturo, and he in custody real quick somehow. And so now Angie and Medina, they questioning him, and they making fun of him. And then she like, no, this is the head of the Toros. And so he like, oh, okay, yeah, I see you took out Lorenzo. And he like, well, I didn't do that actually. And they like, well, then you a liar. Anyway, we out of here. And so he like, wait, hold on, man. I know where they're going to be. And so then he starts spilling the beans on where the Jimenez is going to be. Meanwhile, we see Ghost, and now he's somewhere in the city, and he's meeting up with Proctor. And so he's asking Proctor, and Proctor like, look, man, I got to tell you, did you know Teresi was out? He like, no, man, when did you find out? He like, just the other day. And then Ghost like, man, stop lying, Proctor. Tommy told me you told him, but you talked to you a couple days ago. He like, well, I didn't know, man. Tommy said don't say nothing. He like, hey, man, Tommy don't run nothing. He like, I can't tell. He stabbed a Homeland Security agent to death in my apartment and nothing happened. He like, well, look, man, so what happened now that got you scared enough to talk to me? He like, look, man, you all need to stay clear of Teresi. He like, yeah, I know that. He like, look, man, anything going on that has you all involved, it could implicate you. He like, man, look, you just worried that something could come back to you. He like, no, how could you say that? I've been there for you. When you got shot, who did you call? Regardless of whether you want to think so or not, we're in this together. And so I'm doing this to look out for both of us. And so Ghost, he probably finally got the point that, hey, all right, Proctor really is down, brother, got his back. Meanwhile, so then we see Tasha walking through some apartments. She come around the corner like, okay, she's down. And then we see Terry there looking like a fake Eddie Murphy. And so he like, you know, you don't have to stay there. You can come stay with us. Stay with me. And she like, don't say that. And he like, why not? And she like, because I'm afraid you may change your mind. And so it wasn't that she had any ethics. She just worried he might kick her ass out. And he like, look, man, the way things is going, you need to be out of that house. It's best. He like, I was at Proctor's hearing, and it's not looking good for him. And so they give a hug or whatever, and so she feeling all secure with Eddie Murphy to the rescue. Meanwhile, we see Dre and Cristobal, and they walking together, and he like, man, you sure she told you to come? He like, yeah, she told me pick you up and to come. And so you see they come into a meeting with Alicia and Diego, and so she gives him this bag, and he like, what is this for? And she like, that's the 60 grand he owe for his extracurricular activities. And so Dre, she like, then she's saying Spanish to Diego, now what you need to say. And Diego basically apologized to Dre, but Dre played it off. He didn't say nothing because pretty much he'd be dead. And so she's after Diego apologized, she like, all right, while I'm gone, I want you to teach Cristobal how to run the clubs. He like, I don't think we need to do that. And she like, yeah, we do need to do that. And it made his nose flare up with anger. And she like, that's the purpose of having a lieutenant, to have them back you up. While you doing international, he could be doing this. And so they all walk to the airport, to the through the hangar, and walking to get on the plane. And then we see Tommy peeping through the chain link fence. And he's watching what's going on, but he by himself. I don't know what he think he is, the Punisher, because there ain't nothing he can do with that. And so he ends up not doing nothing. He just watched Dre and everybody together, and he gets frustrated, and then he gets back into the loudest vehicle on Earth and peels off. I don't know how anybody never hears that car or recognizes the unique sound of that car, built before catalytic converters was out. And so then they getting ready to get on. Dre and Cristobal leave. He like, man, so you learning the clubs? He like, man, I don't got a choice. And so they pull off, and then we see Alicia and Diego, and they talking, and she's saying, hey, I want you to stay out of trouble while you here. And then next thing you know, you hear these police sirens, and it's a fleet of SUVs, black SUVs. And Dre and Cristobal look like, oh snap, we just made it out. And we see Diego, once he see the heat coming around the corner, he pull out his pistola, and he puts it in the back of Fat Boy Leroy, they bodyguard, and make sure he holding it so that he don't catch a gun charge. And so then the police, they all pull up. They all hop out with the guns blazing, ready to stop them from making the move. And it's DEA and all kind of people, FBI. We got Officer Milk Dud on the scene. They got Soldier Boy. And so they pretty much all came through with guns blazing, trying to get him. And Diego, he looking a little worried for a second. He don't know what's going on. Alicia, she ain't worried. And so everybody hitting the dirt, hitting the ground while they checking them out. Soldier Boy got him at gunpoint. And so then Medina, Funky Cold Medina hop out. And so they looking like, damn, they may have really got us. And of course, Angie always got to be there. She hops out the car. And so she's all in their face. And when Alicia Jimenez walk past, Angie look at her and say something in Spanish, like, yeah, I got you too, bitch. And everybody happy they got them arrested. They feeling all good, ready to pat each other on the back and feel like a job well done. They get back to the office. They got standing ovation for her as she walk in. Everybody happy for her. Even Sax and Mock, they gave her a little props, even though Mock was like, yeah, I wish it was me in there, but you got her. And so she smiled it off. And right when they said she got her first crack, we see Scuba Steve pop up off the elevator. She like, Steve, what are you doing? He like, yeah, I'm Steve. I'm here with the DEA. Make sure nobody comes in here and make sure I can't be monitored. She like, I'm going in. He like, no, you're not. And so then he goes into the room. He starts talking, unplugging everything, and then he's talking to Alicia, and so he's like, so you guys need us, huh? You're here to cover everything up? And he starts smiling. He like, I would rather do nothing. I would like to do nothing better than to put you all away for good. And she like, but my superiors want me to let you go. She like, is that right? And he like, yeah. And she like, well, that's probably because we control Lobos territory, and we're pretty much too big to fail, right? And so you say, oh, okay, you're all trying to be like a corporation, big time, Americanized. He's like, believe me, when the time comes, I will be there to put you down. And she like, here, I left it. You all have all the evidence you need. Why don't you keep Diego? He's like, if you all want us to kill Diego, do it yourself. And so she kind of upset because she want Diego gone. She set him up. And so Steve come on out and he talking to him, and Angie upset, and he's basically letting them know that they're going to go and walk free. And Angie's like, how could you do this? This is the, I put in a lot of work on this case. This was going to make my career. He like, look, I'm sorry, but what you got to do is make a tighter case, make a home run. Don't swing and miss. And so then you see she's in the office. She upset now, and so she going to see him right when they was coming out. She like, wait, let me talk to you. And so this time Alicia gets to walk right past her while she looking stupid. And so she's sitting there and she's talking to Steve, and Steve is explaining about what happened. And so he's like, look, my bosses want this to be an ironclad case. She like, ironclad my ass. He like, no, that was last night. But anyway, you have to keep working on the case, work on your other cases. She like, so did you use me? Was any of this real? He like, I didn't have to use you to find out where you were on this case. If I had the authority to do what I just did, do you think I needed to use you to do that? I can't stop thinking about what we went through, but I didn't use you for that. And so Angie pissed because she just got beat. Meanwhile, we see Alicia and Diego riding back home on the way from the police station. And so she asked him, how long your gun be missing? He like, which one, the gold one? Why, you seen it? And so she knows she'd seen it because she set him up. She said, yeah, you idiot, because the feds found it at the stash house and you left it there when it got raided. Were you high again? And so he like, who cares, they let us go. You could tell he probably liked the Tommy and her organization. She said, I'm going back to Mexico. Don't leave the stuff alone with Dre. He like, why is Dre so important to you? And he like, he important because he runs our business, and thanks to that, we able to expand. And everything you touch, you destroy. So meanwhile, we see Angie. She pissed. She inside the office. Steve texts her talking about, can't stop thinking about you, and she's about to say, you mother, you Mickey Ficky. F you. But she caught herself and ended up not sending him a text at all. So then for some reason she started looking through this paperwork right there on her desk, and then she sees that it was a tracker placed on Tommy's car. Meanwhile, we see Cristobal pull up to meet up with Dre. And so Cristobal like, man, what we gonna do now that Jimenez got locked up? He like, man, don't worry, we got it under control, man. He like, man, if Ghost or Tommy or Kanan find out, they really gonna roll up on us now. He like, nah, man, they ain't about to do nothing. He like, man, now the feds gonna come after us, we got a snitch. He like, nah, I got this under control, take me somewhere. Meanwhile, we see Proctor, and he's having breakfast with his daughter when this Fed roll up with a search warrant. And so he like, man, who sent this mock? Man, this is bull crap. And then he cussed, and then the daughter like, swear jar, daddy. And so he look at her, and so he looking at the paperwork. He like, man, this is in regards to Bailey Markham. He like, man, I don't know what happened to him. I don't know where he is. He like, man, well, and then he cussed, and then he looked at the daughter, pulled out some change, like, swear jar. She should have been like, keep your money, pig. And so anyway, that's what she should have said. Proctor, he talking to the guy. They all looking through all his stuff or whatever. Proctor going back and forth a little bit with the copper. And the daughter like, so what are they looking for, daddy? He like, I don't know. And then he have a flashback of when Tommy stabbed old boy like he was a Thanksgiving turkey right in the chest. And carved him up real good. And so then he snapped back into reality, and he looking at all these dudes going through his stuff. So now we see Eddie Munster talking to J-Lo, and she's asking about his suspension, and he looking real disheveled real quick, like he done got homeless. She like, look, you say it was a problem with your login. I got a theory. Who had access to your login? Who's the only other person that knew the code? I don't know how she know him, but anyway. Meanwhile, we see Ghost. He coming home. He come up out the elevator. He see bags packed by the door. He like, what? Where's the trip? He see grandma getting the little baby together. He like, Stella, where's Tasha? What's going on? She like, no, James, this is already hard enough. Have you been drinking? As if that's the reason why it's a problem. So then he goes back to the back, and he like, Tasha, what's going on? We see Tasha packing, and then she's saying, I've had enough, Ghost. I'm done. And he like, you done? What? She like, you not dealing with the death of Raina. I'm tired of being the only one that's dealing with it. And if you don't deal with it soon, then you gonna have more problems. And he's saying, what is you talking about? I am dealing with it. She like, no, you're not. You're trying to go out and build this tower, and you're trying to do this or that. And if you don't address what happened with Raina, then you're gonna miss out. She's always gonna be this thing that you lost, and you're not gonna see the gift of what she was and what we had. And then she's like, look, he like, Tasha, you don't mean what you say. And she like, Ghost, I want out of this marriage. I want out of this penthouse. It's time for me to move on. And so Ghost sit down. He like, oh, okay. all right, so you leaving me? And so you gonna go ahead and walk out? She like, what? I ain't leaving. I ain't walking out. Remember, you left me. Remember? And so she bringing up that Angie, and so then he like, he's standing there, and so she like, Ghost, I just can't do it no more. You not dealing with it. I'm the only one trying to do it, and it's just too much. And so then she walk off into the other room after that. And so Ghost, he pissed. He walk into the other room. He like, it's all right, fine. Go ahead, leave. You can't do nothing. You can't help me. You can't help the QCP. You can't help our kids. And then she turn around. She like, yeah, I can help my kids. That's the one thing I am gonna do. And all you got is yourself. The one thing you always had, Ghost. And then she turned and she walk out and leave. So now we see Kanan, and he's leaned up against his car, and he's sending a text to Tommy saying we need to write and work out something for the Jimenez. And Tommy say meet him at 11:30 at Victor. So then Kanan gets these guns and he gives it to his crew. He like, all right, look, man, this gonna be a drive-by. All y'all gonna do is pop and keep rolling. And he's like, oh, okay. And they like, look, and I want y'all to shoot these. And so he give them a box of blanks. And they like, man, what's up with this? He like, hey, man, it's just to scare them, man. It ain't gonna take long. Y'all be gone before they know what happened. And so they was kind of hesitant, but they got in the car and did it anyway. Meanwhile, we see Mock and Saks, Fifth Avenue, and they walking, and then here come Proctor. He like, hey, man, you sent the damn raid to my house while my daughter was there. What's the problem? He like, ain't no problem. I'm just doing my job. You sure you don't know nothing about Bailey Markham? His last location was near your house. He like, man, I don't know nothing about Bailey Markham, and I don't know nothing about. He like, man, I'm gonna catch you up, man. It's just a matter of time. You might as well come and let me know what's up. He like, man, I'm gonna get you for harassment. You better lay off. And so then Saks like, we ain't gonna lay off for Mar. He like, nah, eventually we're gonna get him. He like, yeah, and we'll get him to get Valdez. Saks really mad at Valdez. Meanwhile, we see Ghost, and he's coming to meet up with Tank. And then next thing you know, Tank introduced him to the newest board member, and he sees it's Dre in this red rose suit. And so he like, Dre, he like, yeah, James, thanks, I appreciate it. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for you, which was true. He like, thanks for everything you did. Some people are not like yourself. When their protege goes to work for a competitor, they wouldn't support him still, but me and you were able to still remain friends. And Ghost is looking like, ain't this about a blip? And so Tate sitting there yucking it up, big old horse teeth, smiling and laughing. And Dre, so Dre, he's just sitting there steadily blowing smoke up Ghost booty. And then when they get closer, they like, take a picture. He like, Dre, he like, James, he like, yeah. Then he like, say a few words. And then Ghost like, yeah, I appreciate it. And Councilman Tate for bringing this together. I will never forget it. And he's smiling, not realizing what type of memories Ghost keeps. Meanwhile, we see at the restaurant right here with the Italians, Tommy and the crew walking out. They all got through eating a little linguine. They feeling full and talking. And then Kanan give the word to his crew to go ahead and roll up on them. And so right before they did, the little dirty Scarface told him, man, we ain't rolling up with no blanks, man. Put these in. And so he give old boy, he a pure follower. He give him the clip. He didn't want to. So then they go in. They start shooting real bullets now. And so Tommy and the crew try to get down. One dude got shot, even though Scarface said he was gonna miss. And so then they start shooting, busting. Now they got everybody pinned down. Tommy and the crew trying to shoot back or whatever at them. And then next thing you know, while Tommy and everybody was shooting back, because they did pop a couple of their tires, they was gonna probably get caught up anyway. So Kanan peels out real fast in front of him like he was coming to meet Tommy, and then he just opened fire and airs them out like dirty laundry, and kills dude. And you can see the dude in the back seat right before Kanan pop him look up like, man, what the hell? And then Kanan shot him, and pretty much they didn't do what it was told. And that's why they deserve to get popped. And right when after Kanan shot him, one of the Italians was about to pop Kanan, but Tommy like, no, that's Kanan. He was here to meet up with me. He like, we might not have been the only ones hit. I'm going to go check on Teresi. And so he runs off, go check on his daddy. Tommy is so stupid. And so then Tommy leaves to go check on him. And then Vincent tell Kanan, you better come inside. Follow me. Meanwhile, we see Kanan and Vincent having a drink. And so he's like, man, so did you recognize any of them? He like, nah, he like, I know y'all don't know each other like that. And he like, Kanan gave him the look. He like, but if it's something that's going on with Tommy, I need to know so that I can take care of that. And he like, whatever you say won't come back to me. He like, man, that was dope, boys. He like, okay. And Sammy told me that Tommy handled that. And so he like, that's a shame. And so Kanan know right there he got Tommy in another jam. Meanwhile, we see Teresi, and he in his house, and then he get a phone call, and it's Mock and Saxon. They pranking him, talking about, yeah, we ain't heard from you in a while. You ain't forgetting my number, did you? And so he like, nah, he like, we don't need to show up on your porch. He like, nah, I ain't been out long enough to get nothing. They like, all right, so they hang up. And so his wife like, who is that? And he like, what are you talking about? She like, hey, I've always known when you ain't telling me something, and you ain't telling me something. Who was that? How'd you get out all of a sudden after all these years? He like, well, look, let me tell you. And she like, what? And then he like, they let me out for some information. They want this guy Ghost and Tommy. If I tell on Tommy, they'll let me out. And she like, what? So you a snitch? He like, no, it ain't snitching because he ain't family. It's not like we talking on the family. She like, yeah, but if these guys find out you snitching, they not going to care who you talking about. They like, no, ain't nobody going to find out. And so right when he was saying that, he get a knock at the door. And of course, it's Tommy caring about him more than Teresi cares about him. And so he like, you okay? We got shot at the bar. And he like, what happened? He like, why don't you let me in, Tommy? Let me help you. And Tommy kind of gave him the look, and then he ain't say nothing. He like, I'm out now, son. I can help you. Tell me what it is you need. And the whole time the wife is listening, realizing he ain't nothing. And so Tommy gave him the look, but he didn't say nothing. Meanwhile, we see at the office, J-Lo, she got her little system together. She building her little case, just like how Angie and Greg was doing. And so now she's got all their heads up on the board, trying to figure out how all of this was connected with Ray Ray. Then we see Ghost. He's coming home. He's getting off the elevator. And then we hear him leave a message for Tommy saying, hey, it's something about Dre. It's important. We got a new problem. And then he's taking off his, tie or whatever, loosening it up. And then he gets another call, and he say, yeah, where can we meet? And so then we see he's at this restaurant, diner or whatever, and he's sitting there, and then he's drinking on some coffee, chilling, relaxing, waiting on whoever it is this mystery person is. And then who could it be? None other than Angie. She finally shows up, and it's when they both came to pretty much their lowest point right now. They both single, been kind of used and abused through relationships. Their jobs has both got a little chaos going on. And so he like, Angie, what happened? Why I haven't heard from you? You ain't called me back. She like, well, I'm here now. And so then they pretty much reconnected from a new ground zero. And now that Tasha's out of his life, maybe they can start over fresh without all the extra headaches and drama and stuff that was being created when he was with Tasha. I know I'm about to get a bunch of comments and get beat up over that comment right there, but it is what it is. And then right when they were getting ready to the episode leave, the waitress came and said, do you two know what you want? Which was a key phrase because neither one of them know exactly what they want with each other in this relationship, as well as career-wise. And this video ran kind of long, so I'm not going to expand too much on this video. I'm just going to make other videos about the other topics I want to expand on, like Tasha finally leaving and all kind of other stuff. So once again, I want to thank everybody for watching. I appreciate it. If you ain't subscribed, subscribe, click the like button, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.